Will those of you who are able, please rise, and we will have the reading of the three treasures you'll find on page 3 of our purple book. Fortunate is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Rare is it to encounter the teachings of the Buddha. Now we hear it. If we do not seek the truth of the Dharma in this life, in what life shall we find it? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of way to enlightenment and awaken within us our highest aspiration. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged to the depth of the Dharma and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in a life of harmony in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful teaching. Now we're able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Sangha's teachings. Namo Vidabats, Namo Vidabats, Namo Vidabats, Namanda, Namanda. Thank you. Please remain standing. We will have a gatha or song. It's summertime, so I chose When We See the Golden Sun. You'll find that on page 183 of our purple book. And I've got to go over there and start the piano. Hope my voice carries either way. I wasn't raised in a barn. Grew up in San Francisco, but we had to use loud voices sometimes. Anyway, thank you. So now we will have a Dharma message from Dave. You? Okay. I'll leave that.
Hello, good morning all. Boy, that's loud. Basically, good morning again, and happy Father's Day to all of our fathers out there. And then I add a little caveat to that, fathers present and past. We like to remember all of our fathers. Today I'd like to cover or talk about something that is pretty important to Jodo Shinshu Buddhism and Mahayana Buddhism, and it is the Bodhisattva. And basically, what I like to talk about, how bodhisattvas are everywhere. They're places that you may not think. I'll start off with a quote from Shinran Shonin, the founder of our school of Buddhism, from the Jodo Wasan, or the Hymns of Benefits in the Present. And this gives you an idea of how many bodhisattvas there are out there. His quote is, "Together with bodhisattvas, countless as the Ganges sands or as particles." So that's a lot of bodhisattvas. And some of you may think, well, I've heard bodhisattva, but what does a bodhisattva mean? And basically, there's many definitions of a bodhisattva. And many of them are very technical, but I'm going to try to find one that's not so technical, something that's very understandable. Basically, some of the more technical terms would be one who delays Buddhahood to help others toward enlightenment. That's more of a general term. But I found some that are actually a little bit more ordinary, a little bit more understandable. For example, from Tricycle Magazine, I found a definition. Bodhisattva is an ordinary person who takes up a course in life, his or her, that moves in the direction of Buddha. You and I, actually anyone who directs their attention, their life, to practicing the way of a Buddha is a bodhisattva. I may not be able to decide if you're a bodhisattva or not, and some people may take that as kind of a pride thing, but that's where Amida Buddha decides. But basically, they can be anyone, anywhere. And I have some examples to show or to talk about in my life, and then they may spill over into what you actually may have experienced, some of these individuals. I'll start off with one interesting example that Reverend Warwick used, and that was an animal. Animals, like our little furry friend back there, can also be a bodhisattva because they may unconsciously not know of the Buddha, but they teach us the way toward enlightenment and the way toward becoming basically like a better person. It was rather interesting to find out that a raccoon can be a bodhisattva, but I tend to agree. I've encountered some squirrels that way. And to go along with today's Father's Day message, I used the word parents. So basically, not just your mother, but also your father can become or be a bodhisattva, because many of you here have been, and then, one second there, a little nervous, have been members here for many generations. So many of our fathers have guided us along the way, not just saying, hey, you got to go to church today, but they guided us along with many values and many ideas on how to live. And he may not have been consciously thinking, I'm going to become a Buddha today, but he can, his values actually was in line with those values and help guide us. And then I'll use a few other examples. A few ministers, like Reverend Castro, who's more of a mentor to me because I've known him for many years, over 20 years, when I was still active duty in the Air Force. And Reverend Warwick, before he was Reverend Warwick, I knew him as a minister's assistant, Warwick. And even Reverend Cindy, our newest minister here. All of these people, they may not be purposely trying to push us where we need to go, but they do in a way, because in their messages and all their inspiration, all their compassion and their wisdom, makes you think, makes you wonder, this is definitely the way to go. Another example that I like to use, and it's a little more controversial, it's something that I believe, is that they don't always have to be good and positive. They could actually be a negative person, like that person who cut you off on the way to church today. But in my case, it was in the deployment to Iraq where I encountered some real bad people, I guess you could say. And some of those people, at the point, I didn't have a positive thing to say about them. But when I thought back at it now, I think something totally different. I actually think of them as more of a way of guiding me away from certain influences and a way of looking at things with a different perspective. So they don't always have to be somebody positive and somebody like a minister. They can actually be somebody more negative, actually. And to conclude my talk, I probably sped it up a little too fast, but a little nervous today. Basically, bodhisattvas are everywhere, and they can be animals, people, whatever. I mean, I even think sometimes that field that it takes me hours to mow back there can be a bodhisattva for me. But bodhisattva is basically a person, thing, animal that guides us to enlightenment, that helps us become a Buddha. And even though you may not know you're a Buddha, or a bodhisattva, I mean, you may actually be. But the only way you'll really know is if being like Amida Buddha tells you. So, can I get you to conclude? Can I get you to put your hands together for gasho, or to bow your head in contemplation and to recite the Nembutsu? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Dave. You did very well. I don't know if this is your very first Dharma message. It was. Everyone has a first time sometime, just like me, my first time sharing. I don't know what I was, probably a ball of mirrors myself. Anyway, but we'll go on from there. Alrighty, so now we will have the Daily Creative Jodo Shinshu. You will please rise if you are able to do so. It's on page 8. And we do the song first, don't we? I'm sorry. I'm going backwards. See, I'm still tossing things around a bit. So we'll have Odoku-san 2. You'll find that on 152 or 53. I keep getting the pages mixed up. Yeah. 153. There we go. This on. Please turn to page 8, and we will read the Daily Creative Jodo Shinshu. I don't know, must be spring fever or something. Daily Creative Jodo Shinshu, read along with me. Realizing enlightenment is assured, and reciting the Nembutsu, I shall live my life cheerfully and positively. Understanding the oneness of life and cultivating self-reflection, I shall diligently attend my life's tasks in gratitude. Recognizing the Dharma path, I shall help spread the teachings of the Buddha. Appreciating the Buddha Dharma, I shall respect and help others, working for the good of society. Namo Ridabhats, Namo Ridabhats, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Thank you. You may be seated. Now I have some announcements. I hope many of you have gotten the little yellow sheet that has it all written down is what's happening. Today after service, we are having a Aline Lamphere from the Puyallup Valley chapter of the Japanese American Citizens League. She'll be speaking about an exhibit at the Puyallup Fairgrounds that will commemorate and remember our forefathers who were taken there, interned, whatever words you want to use. I know it can be a touchy subject. Anyway, so if those of you wish to stay for that, please do so. Are any of you going to talk about this? We are the White River Valley Museum, which is just down the road. We'll be opening an exhibit about Bonodori, its history and its meaning, and starts on hopefully June 18th and runs to October 19th. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, they never changed the card. Anyway, June 19th through October 13th, there will be an opening reception on June 27th in the evening. So if you're available, stop on by. I think it'd be a worthwhile thing to see, and you might recognize some people in there. Who knows?
Good morning. The presentation will be in the multi-purpose room after service, so I think if all of you could stay, it'll be very interesting. You can grab a cup of coffee and a donut. You can only have the donut if you're staying. And then also on our announcement sheet, I just wanted to point out that we're looking for local strawberries. So if any of you happen to have some strawberries in your yard, if you're willing to donate some of them, we'd like them here at the temple by the next Sunday. The berries are for Obon, so we'll freeze them, and then we'll have them for Strawberry Sundae and strawberry rhubarb pie. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Annika, for those of you who don't know me. So this Saturday on June 22nd, we're going to have the summer solstice sit at 5 o'clock in the morning. So get here a little bit before 5 so you can, set your space up. And we're going to try to be outside if the weather's good, but if it rains, we'll bring it inside, and we'll have coffee and tea, but we'll have a potluck breakfast after the meditation. So hope to see some of you there. Thanks.
So that will conclude our service for today. I will read the closing words if you know them. Recite them along with me. If not, do stay for donuts and coffee and a presentation afterwards. We'll let that go by first. That may have been a bodhisattva. I don't know what it's doing. Probably it's going to save lives. That's an important thing. And a whole crew of bodhisattvas. Maybe they travel in packs. All right, thank you. My life is not only my life, but the life of others, sacrifices, kindness, thoughtfulness, and patience. I am grateful. Namo Dabbats, Namo Dabbats, Namanda, Namanda. And those of you who wish may come up and make offering or a shoko. Again, please stay for the presentation. Thank you all very much. We'll see you next time. And Obon is coming. It's not that far away.